When I was in the Navy, or rather before I joined the Navy, I unknowingly to me, I had a big ego. I started exercising, bodybuilding, and doing all this stuff. I went on a couple deployments that completely changed all of that. Not being able to spend 3 hours in the gym every day, not being able to take all these supplements that I was taking that I was spending a lot of money on, working 17 hours a day. The suffering was so intense, it just completely killed 70% of my ego. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it killed about 70% of my ego. It's kind of like ripping off a hangnail. It's still there and you got to do the extra work. When we came back from deployment, I had an option. I could go back to bodybuilding. I could go back to weight training and weightlifting and just going back to feeding my ego, because I was very concerned about how I looked in front of other people. I was very insecure, had my ego on my sleeve. But I forcefully changed my mindset against that, even though I felt a great pull to it. It's an addiction. The ego is very addicting, and I wanted to just go back, and I had slip-ups, but I decided that I was going to exercise for a more selfless reason instead of just looking good. That was difficult. I had to put in 30% of chopping down the rest of the tree, basically. The Navy killed about 70% of my ego, blew it out of the water, but I had to put in the rest of the work. You have to ask yourself, if you're in a situation where life is trying to kill your ego. Many people have joined the Navy before and after me. Not that I'm saying I'm anyone special, but I've never heard anyone speaking about the things that I'm speaking of right now. Many people have gone through the same exact situation as me. And when you're confronted with a really difficult, crazy situation like that, there's two ways to go about it. One is you can surrender. And everyone has this totally warped, especially Americans have this totally warped idea of what surrendering is. They think it means giving up. It doesn't mean giving up. Surrendering is one of the most profound things that you can do. The second thing that you can do in a very difficult situation is suck it up, put your head down, and just keep bowling forward like a male bull. I could have very easily just been like, you know what, I'm not gonna let this break me. I'm gonna fucking keep going, and I'm gonna keep up my bodybuilding routine. And actually there was a guy who was doing that, but it's selfish and it's egotistical, because the things that I found beyond that are beyond measure. It's beyond measure. You can't put a value on self-worth. I want you to ask yourself, if you're going through a situation like that right now, where you feel that you're just in a terribly difficult situation. A lot of people think that life happens to them. This was a big problem that I had whenever I was in the Navy. Why is this happening to me? This is so terrible. The universe, if we want to get woo-woo for a second, is burning up your ego, because it's preparing you for things that you wouldn't be able to do with your ego hanging on your back. Selfless service. You can't do that with a big ego. And a lot of people go through very profound things and they realize that everything that they were doing before was a waste of time. I think that's a blessing, that the universe sees that this person has potential and it can use you for something better. The suffering that you're going through right now is a way to burn up your ego, to kill your ego, and to prepare you for something that you can't even fathom.